right, so moving on, we're going to do decimals. Okay, because, and again, this should be a review. Decimals are basically always in tens. Decimals are just basically fractions, but they're fractions that always have either like a 10 on the bottom or a 100, right? Just some kind of multiple of 10. That's what decimals are, right? And you can keep going. So if you have one decimal place, right, that means this is in the tenths. So you would write whatever this number is over 10. If you have two decimals, this is the hundredths place. Right, whatever these numbers are, you're going to write it if you want to, convert it to a fraction. But essentially, that's just what decimals are. They're just fractions, but written like as a shorthand. Right, this is the thousandths place. So that means whatever the numbers are in there over 1,000. Right, so if it says to, like, on a number line, graph 0.7, we're in the tenths place. That means we're splitting up our numbers into 10 parts. Okay, so just like how with fractions, we looked at the bottom, it tells us how many parts we want to split our number into. With a decimal, it's still just a fraction. Just the fraction is always going to be 10 or 100 or 1,000, depending on how many decimal places you have. Right? For number lines, we're not going to go any higher than the 10th place because it would be ridiculous to make you split a number into 100 parts. Right, so we're just going to do 10. The way I like to do it is I like to split it in half first, and then I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just so it's a little bit more even. Right, this is our 0.5 mark, right? 5 over 10, or 1/2. And then right here is our 0.7, right? Because you go 1, 2, or 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. So this is our 0.7. Okay, let's also do negative 1.3. Oops. No, let's just do negative 0.3. Okay, so again, I'm going to split it 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we have negative 0.1, negative 0.2, negative 0.3 right here. Okay, so hopefully that's not too much different than what we did with fractions before. It's really just still fractions, but you're just always splitting your number into 10 parts, or maybe 100 or 1,000. But again, I'm not going to make you do that because splitting a number into 100 parts would take forever. Okay, so now I just want to, I guess we'll just kind of review too how we turn decimals into fractions, right? So probably should have done that before. But if we wanted to turn like 0.7 into a fraction, just remember it's always over, we're in the 10th place, so it's over 10. So it's 7 tenths. Right, so just like if you were going to go on the number line 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, right? And this is 10 over 10, right, which equals 1. Okay, if you had two decimals, then you're just going to put this number and just take this as a number. So that's just 6, right? 0, 6 is just 6 over, this is the 100th place, there's 2 decimal places, so it's over 100. this one's the 1,000th place. There's 3 decimal places. So it goes over 1,000. Hey, what about if you have a number in front? Okay, so first thing you want to know is that you're still going to put this whole number over it. Just write it as a number, so 234. But now we still take into account how many decimal places. So even though we've got more numbers this time, like compared to here, right, we're still only in the 100th place. So it's 234 over 100, right? And if you think of it just like a mixed number, right, a mixed number forms an improper fraction. Same thing. This is, if you wanted to write it a different way, you could say 2 and 34 over 100, right? So you could kind of separate the 2. So 2 plus 0.34, and then you get the 2 plus 0.34 over 100. Oh, not 0.34, sorry. 34 over 100. Okay, so really just pay attention to the decimal. That's the most important, because that's going to tell you what number goes at the bottom of your fraction. Okay, yeah, so I think that's good enough review, and hopefully that clears up how to draw decimals and mark decimals and fractions on a number line, which will come in handy when we do graphing in 2 weeks.